In a peaceful valley, nestled next to a small village, there stood a quiet monastery. Within its stone walls lived monks who had dedicated their lives to the teachings of Zen, spending their days in meditation and simple living. Among them was a monk, known throughout the valley for his warm heart and willingness to help others. One day, a young villager came to the monk, desperate for guidance. His crops were failing, and he feared losing his entire harvest. Moved by the boy's plight, the monk taught him how to care for the soil and encouraged him to cultivate patience. The villager followed the monk's advice, and in time, his crops flourished. The miracle of the revived harvest spread quickly through the village, and the monk's reputation as a man of wisdom and miracles grew. Soon, more villagers began to seek him out. They came to him with their problems: sick children, broken tools, family disputes. The monk listened patiently and offered his guidance, always with a smile. He felt fulfilled, believing that he was living the true path of compassion, just as the Buddha had taught. But as word of his help spread, more and more villagers came. Every day, the line outside the monastery grew longer. The monk tried to help everyone, but as he did, he found himself growing tired. His once peaceful life was now filled with the constant chatter of others' needs. His mornings, which had been spent in meditation and tending to the land, were now consumed by the problems of the villagers. The villagers, too, began to change. They stopped seeking solutions within themselves and started turning to the monk for everything. Simple problems, like a broken fence or a missing chicken, were brought to his doorstep. Even small disputes between neighbors or finding lost tools became matters they expected him to resolve. The monk began to feel a heaviness in his heart. He wanted to help, but he no longer felt the peace that once came with his acts of kindness. His energy was drained, and the time he used to spend in personal reflection vanished. His own spiritual practice began to slip away. One night, as he sat in his room, exhausted from another long day of helping others, the monk realized something troubling. The village had become completely dependent on him. They no longer tried to solve their problems on their own. And worse, his once freely given kindness now felt like an obligation. It had become a burden, something expected rather than appreciated. But through his experience, the monk realized something deeper about Zen teachings. Compassion was essential, but so were boundaries. By constantly stepping in, he had unintentionally weakened the villagers. His continuous assistance had disrupted the natural balance of the community. Determined to restore balance, the monk made a decision. The next morning, when the villagers arrived at the monastery with their usual troubles, the monk greeted them with a calm smile. Instead of immediately providing solutions, he asked them a thought-provoking question. If this problem had a purpose to fulfill for you, what would that be? The villagers looked at him in confusion and frustration. They were used to the monk solving their issues directly, not asking them to reflect on their troubles. But as they began to reflect on the purpose behind each problem, they slowly realized that every challenge had something to teach them, an opportunity for growth or self-discovery. Over time, they started to understand that the wisdom they sought was already within them. Slowly but surely, the villagers began to rely on their own inner resources. They faced their challenges with newfound confidence and creativity, solving their problems as they had before, and the community thrived once more. But have you ever wondered if you're helping others just to seek approval or validation? Then watch this next video for a powerful lesson on how to discover your true value. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more inspiring content in the future.